Hey, what's going on guys? Today we are going to be going through the top 10 best and easiest champions for beginners. So if you want to know which are the top 10 best and easiest champions for beginners to pick up, make sure to watch this video all the way through to the end. With that said, enjoy the video guys. Coming up on number 10 we have Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune is a gunslinging captain from Bilgewater that packs a punch with her kit. She's pretty easy to play once you know her mechanisms and can really carry a team if played well. A solid pick for any newbie and experienced player alike. We suggest going the AD route rather than the off-meta AP route, the latter of which doesn't pack as much of a punch as the former. She is also the best teamfight ADC thanks to her amazing ultimate ability. Now, the reason we recommend her for newbies is because farming and CSing is a cornerstone skill for any ADC, and farming with Miss Fortune is one of the most forgiving to do. This is thanks to her passive in which Miss Fortune deals bonus damage to any new target she hits. Additionally, the movement speed bonus she gets from her W lets her maneuver around enemy skill shots, and her E grants her very good zone control that also slows. Coming up on number 9 we have Darius, a very fun champion that allows you to learn the fundamentals of top lane, a lane which is focused on dueling. This means he is a good champion to learn how to trade and calculate damage. His bleed encourages new players to learn how to properly implement auto attacks in between abilities. You can certainly win trades by just using his abilities. However, if you can slip in those extra passive procs, you'll be surprised how enemies perish before you. His W is an auto attack reset, so after you hook an enemy with your E, you can auto them for a stack of bleeding and then reset your auto with W for an extra bleed proc. Then proceed to auto attack until they reach the outer end of your Q for, you guessed it, extra bleed procs. This should grant you around 5 stacks and a chunk of the enemy's health bar. This is the ideal time to use your ult and dunk on them. Dunking on people with Darius's ultimate is one of the most fun things to do in League. On number 8 we have Soraka. Soraka is the ideal support to learn how to play an enchanter in League of Legends. It teaches you everything you need to know about it. It teaches you positioning, poke, and screaming internally when you urgently try to save your carries from their own mistakes. Soraka is a healer that specializes at keeping your team alive, but she can also silence enemies with her E and poke and heal with her Q. Bonus tip, she throws bananas, which is awesome. On number 7 we have probably the most beginner friendly jungle pick with the Wuju swordsman Master Yi. That being said, his gameplay has changed a few times, but not on its core. Master Yi is a champion who depends on his basic attacks. His meditate gives him some extra durability in the lane or jungle, and his Alpha Strike, which is broken by the way, makes him untargetable while dealing damage to enemies. It also allows him to farm or get closer to the target. Regarding the rest of his skills, just press everything and click on the target. Master Yi is great at scaling as well and melts tanks. He has one of the highest DPS for any jungler out there. On number 6 we have Ashe. We can't make a list of the best and easiest champions to play for beginners without including Ashe, the champion that Riot uses for the tutorial. The reason Ashe is such a beginner-friendly ADC is because she has so much utility compared to other ADCs, and because of that, she doesn't need to be ahead to be useful. She can trade relatively safely with her W, which shoots out a cone of arrows that's slow, and her Q, which grants her attack speed steroids. However, it is her E that sets her apart from other ADCs, as it can provide vision wherever Ashe casts it upon. Her ultimate is also one of the best in the game, and amazing for getting picks. Overall, she's an AD marksman character whose attacks and abilities can slow down, reveal or stun enemies. On number 5 we have Leona. Leona is arguably bested only by Nautilus in the amount of CC built into her kit, which makes her excellent at starting fights, but also at looking after her ADC. Her shield also means she is able to wade into battle with minimal personal risk. Her Q, Shield of Daybreak. Leona bashes an enemy with her shield, stunning them for a short time. When comboed with her E, this gives Leona an excellent way to lock down a single target. But you can also use it to allow her teammates time to move away from a threat. Her W makes trading with Leona very easy. Leona grants herself a shield, reducing incoming damage by boosting her stats. Again, used with E, it lets Leona get into the fight without getting into much trouble. Her E, Zenith Strike, fires a skill shot. Then Leona dashes to the last target hit and stuns them. As mentioned above, this is an important part of her kit and a big part of allowing Leona to engage in fight. Her ultimate, Solar Flare. Leona calls down, a solar flare, stunning enemies caught in its center and slowing those on the outside. It's a useful tool for starting fights, peeling carries and also zoning areas of the map to help hinder escapes. Leona comes from the tanky, CC heavy brand of support. That means she can get involved in a fight, but you'll need to be careful not to go too far, too fast. Engaging with other team to back you up is a surefire way to get yourself killed very quickly. Overall, she's a very supportive and forgiving support pick to play because of her tankiness. On number 4 we have Blitz, a champion that is well known for his fearful grab. Blitz is a very good pick for beginners because he teaches about target selection and timing your engages. His bread and butter, his hook, is the longest in the game and it is used to pull an enemy towards you. By hooking the enemy carry, you pretty much land a kill, and that is why it's so dreadful for your enemies. His W grants him a movement speed buff for easier roams and escapes. His W is an uppercut from Jesus that briefly knocks the opponent, and his ult silences while dealing damage. Coming up on number 3 we have Garen. The Might of Demacia is pretty much the usual fantasy paladin. Shiny armor, righteous behavior, unbreakable morals, and a lot of skills with a sword. Garen is big, powerful and persistent, a paragon of might and morals to the Demacian forces. As a champion in Summoner's Rift, he is one of the simplest characters. In order to play Garen effectively, spin to win and then retreat to regain health. Repeat until the adversary is at low health, then drop a giant sword on their head. Garen's innate tankiness makes him a good champion to help you learn to navigate the often isolated top lane. However, he struggles against ranged champion, but if you manage his kills well, he can hold his own against most melee champions. There aren't many characters in League of Legends who can withstand the repeated use of Decisive Strike, his Q and Judgment. It doesn't take long to whittle down your opponents down to a point where you can finish them off with your ultimate. If things aren't going your way, then make use of your defensive capabilities. Garen has the ability to gain defensive stats passively, and the fact that he automatically builds armor and magic resistance helps him out against anyone he might come up against. If you find yourself losing fights, you also have lots of potential escape routes. Using your E discourages people from getting too close, and using your Q lets you put some distance between you and your enemies. Your W boosts your defense for 6 seconds, also helping you escape. Once you're safe, Garen's health regeneration is one of the highest in the game. It's basically a baby Warmox, so stay out of trouble for a while and you'll be quickly back to full health. On number 2 we have Annie. Annie embodies a lot of what it is to be a mid laner. Strong crowd control and high burst magic damage are the payoffs for minimal mobility, but good timing and target selection can swing entire games in Annie's favor. Annie's crowd control makes her very good at initiating teamfights. Once you've used 4 spells, you'll have charged up a stun that activates on the next damaging spell you cast. This means you can use Disintegrate or Incinerate to stun enemies and then immediately drop Tibers on them, starting the fight with a huge amount of burst damage. Annie's long range and high CC might make her good at starting fights, but be careful if she gets caught or she only has her Molten Shield to protect her and no real means of escape. And finally, on number 1 you have the Prophet of the Void, Malzahar. My personal favorite champion on this list and also the easiest to play in my opinion. Malzahar has one of the best wave clear in the game, never mind how absurdly it is. His E is a damage over time point click ability that spreads to another target after it kills it, and his W spawn Voidling that target whatever the E is targeting. Pop your E and your W on a wave and there you go. You got perfect CS out of 2 buttons. If this wasn't enough, his ultimate is a point click suppress and what I like to call the outplay button. You pop it, the enemy dies. If this wasn't enough, his Q can clear an entire wave on its own, which combined with his E and W give new players a big leeway when it comes to farming and time to go around roaming or placing deep wards in the enemy jungle. On another note, Malzahar has such great utility with his ult that even if you don't get fed, you can still have a very big impact helping your team by properly isolating an enemy with your ult. Ult the enemy's team win condition and there you go. And that's it for our top 10 best and easiest champions for beginners, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. If you disagree with the list, let us know in the comments down below. See you next time, guys.